Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and this is the March 22nd SmackDown review. It was a pretty loaded show back in, still in Europe, so like these crowds have been insane. And yeah, so I figured we'd just jump into it and kind of go off of the best way we can of where everything's going. So let's just start right off the bat. We had Randy Orton start off the show. Um, the crowd was just absolutely just loves Randy Orton, so it was great. They were chanting and singing a song, so that definitely helped. And then we had KO interrupt him, and KO kind of just backtrack and being like, "Hey man, let's just be friends. Let's go after the tag team titles." I thought that was a pretty interesting, way to try to like mess with Randy Orton to a certain extent. Like he's in a way trying to be a good guy by being like, "Hey, I don't want you to be that old terrible Randy, but enough that like." Like he's definitely trying to not get his beaten up. So I thought it was a pretty good segment. I'm gonna put it up in S tier. It was a great way to start off the show. Then we had a tag match, which was Damian Priest and Jimmy Uso versus Drew and Shinsuke Nakamura. I feel like this was kind of random. Obviously, it's for like the whole like story that they're doing. I think a triple threat might have worked a little bit better, but I guess like Nakamura and Drew were both mad at Damian Priest. I'm not 100% sure why Nakamura would care, but this tag match was okay. It was definitely the further the feuds of Priest and Drew, so like you could definitely tell it was like that. Nakamura and Uso were just kind of like there. But I mean, it's a really star powered match to put in there, so I'll put it in B. It was solid. The story was good. Everything about it ended up being pretty decent. Next year at Strowman and Fatu. This ended up being a number one contendership for the U.S. title, which I thought was kind of cool that it kind of all of a sudden turned to that. And the match ended with Solo and Tama Tonga costing Jacob with the DQ. And then obviously Jacob just being livid and crashing out afterwards. I think this is going to lead Jacob versus Solo at WrestleMania. I think that's what they're building up for, and I'm cool with that. This match itself was just a big, powerful event. I think their Saturday main event match was better. So this one I'd probably just put in B. It was solid, but we've seen these guys do better stuff. They kind of knew the ending was going to be that DQ, so they didn't worry too much about making it like memorable, I guess. Then I had a couple segments which I don't remember the order of, but we had Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton talk, and Charlotte, like everybody's like, oh well, she destroyed Tiffany Stratton. I'm like, she just didn't let even Stratton talk. This was just a very like, it didn't even feel like it was part of the story. It just felt like it was just mean girl attitude. I don't know. I'm not really liking this feud at all, especially with it looks like all signs might be with Tiffany losing. And even if Tiffany wins, I don't think she's gained anything from this by beating Charlotte. So um, yeah, and then like to belittle the cash into, I think is always kind of a dumb thing because it's such a thing that's inside of WWE, and this to belittle it as being champion just kind of seems pointless because you're just shitting on your own product. Um, Overall, I guess I'd put this. I guess I'd put it in B. It wasn't the worst, but I feel like they definitely have not built this feud up great. Then we had Zelina Vega versus Piper Niven. Now, I was excited for this match. The match itself was pretty solid. A lot of good back and forth. Zelina Vega had a cool outfit and a new theme. It was okay. I've had to listen to it a couple more times before I could really decide if I like it or not. I just did not understand the ending. Like, I understand that, like, Zelina has like a heel decline, but like that's because she needs to beat Piper Niven, beat Alba Fire, then she can go to Chelsea Green. But she just loses straight up to Piper Niven is kind of pointless. I do not see the vision there, unless Zelina Vega's just there. This is our first SmackDown match too, so I think overall the match was in B, but the ending couldn't make B any higher than B because it was just kind of pointless. Then we had a Ray Phoenix thing. It looks like that Ray Phoenix may be the one that goes on to SmackDown. A lot of people think he'll be on SmackDown and Penta will be on Raw, and they'll just build them up first before ever putting them together. I kind of like that idea. I either would love them to be a tag team on SmackDown or on Raw and like win the tag team titles right off the bat, or separate could also work. I feel like there's a lot of like single stars in SmackDown, so he may get lost in the shuffle, but I guess we'll see how it goes. I like this segment. There was also like a Malachi Black 4, maybe. We're not really even sure, but That was also pretty solid. Again, we don't really know that much on this one. This one clearly we know is Ray Phoenix. Next up, we had the Jade and Liv match. I think the match itself was still it was pretty solid. I feel like Liv definitely had like the better move set. Jade seemed a little clunky. It is her first like official match back from being hurt, so like it could, it definitely could make sense. I quite enjoyed it. I'd put it in B. It was a good match. It's definitely the best out of all the B matches, but I don't think I could put it much higher. Um, it definitely helps the feud and helps all that. And then we had Naomi come out and cost Jade with a distraction and then beat her down afterwards. I thought that was a pretty good idea. I like Naomi's heel look. I'll put that up in S tier. I think like this could be a good feud for WrestleMania as we're starting to get matches set in stone, and I feel like this is the next one that should kind of get the next domino to set in stone. Then we had the Street Profits come down. They were talking, and then obviously Lars Garza came down, and they ended up having a tag match there. I think the match was really good. Just some crazy stuff, and just showing like this is what you get when you get the Street Profits in there. And I think it's a good head of the tag division to have right now because they're going to put on phenomenal matches and they have phenomenal mic work. So I'll put this up in A. Great match. Obviously, would have liked it to be cooked out a little bit more, but it was solid enough to be put on the card. And obviously, they got Pretty Deadly next week for the championships. So I think that's kind of cool that it's just going to be run and gun with them and getting some defenses and title opportunities. I'm glad. Then we had the final segment, which feels like they ran out of time. I really feel like they only had like 15 minutes when the segment started, and then by the time the crowd and all that, and all three competitors got in the ring, there was only like 8 minutes. It was CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. I feel like you need more than that. It was pretty solid. I mean, they set up, basically that they all hate each other and that they're wanting to go after each other. So I feel like it was short, so I'd put it in A. I would have liked to see more of it, but I'm cool with that. And then because of SmackDown being over with, we got two matches set in stone for WrestleMania. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. I feel like this was a good thing to like bring up and rate. I think this match will be good. I think it will set Randy to be full heel. He'll take out Kevin Owens really badly to maybe even set him up for going after Cody after this if Cody retains because I got Backlash tickets today, so I wouldn't mind seeing Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. So if that's the path that I'm seeing, I'm cool with that. I'll put this in S for the hype. Then we got Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk officially in the books as a triple threat. Now, any other year, this would definitely be a main event. I think this might be like an opening match because it's going to be so pumped that they're going to have to give them just a lot of eyes. I don't know where you put this on a card. Like, you either put it right before the main event or right at the start so they get the time to do stuff. But man, this is going to be an insane match. I'll also put this in S tier. And yeah, that was SmackDown. If you guys are enjoying these weekly SmackDown reviews, I do SmackDown, Raw, and Evolve right now. Been thinking about doing NXT every once in a while. It just feels like with NXT, it's a little bit harder to get the recording out. So if you guys are enjoying this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.